Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Another beautiful day to be alive. Another beautiful day to thrive. So let's keep get it going and, call it another beautiful day. We are at the end of the road for 2023. So I think, next week will be my last week doing my word of the days in 2023. I think I'm going to cut it down in the new year to like 3 days a week instead of 5 days a week because one day the videos don't get as much traction, and then two, it's probably not best for me to post a video all these videos every single day. So I'm going to concentrate my efforts to other things, more productive things, more things that I'm going to learn something from, one, and then number two, things I'm going to be hopefully be more profitable. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, all right. So today's word of the day, I just had it, and it walked away from me. Of course, my computer wants to make all these noises when I go live. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Second family. There we go. When I'm not live, no, nothing. When I go live, everything. All right. Anyways, so today's word of the day is Janus. Janus stands for the god of gates and doorways, depicted with two faces looking in opposite directions. We all have two faces. We all have multiple faces. I remember back, when I was younger, we would always say you have a two-faced mindset. That person's two-faced. But everybody's two-faced. It would be a very, very boring place if everybody was just one singular thing. I think that's what makes this world a beautiful place and much more interesting. And it makes it much more interesting to want to vibe with people when things have a very different complex to it. I've been all over this country this year, from the West Coast to the East Coast to the South. Landed in the Midwest. I haven't really been, the next 2 years I'm going to go to some more Midwestern cities and see more Middle America. But, every state is the same in regards to major cities, crowded suburbs, overcrowded small towns. Every city is the same in that aspect, in that regards. And with that being said, and hey, I went to Canada this year too. Can't wait to go back to Canada. Very expensive, but very worth it. And I think that's why I'm not really doing much for Christmas and much for New Year's. If you follow my TikTok, if you follow my my Facebook page, if you follow my Instagram, you've seen that I've worked hard, I've played hard. And that's the two different sides of me. One, working hard, being focused, and putting my energy into what I need to get done, and then me kicking back, relaxing, and enjoying myself in a great environment. And that's my two opposite opposing faces. That's my Janus. That's my things that are happening and going in two different directions. A guy I know, he said, "How do I have the energy to travel so much?" This is the first time I've actually traveled within 2 weeks in the same month, and within a 2-week radius. Went to Houston last week. Last week went to Phoenix, and the week before that went to Houston. And I told him, I was like, it's worth it. But I said, for me, at the end of the day, some people like to watch sports. Some people like to play video games. Some people like to go online and debate mythical movies, comic books, and whatever. Nothing wrong with any of those things that some people like to do. I like to travel. I like to be out in there. That was the worst thing about the pandemic, was being on lockdown, not being able to really go anywhere. I like to travel, see some different places, be around some different people. Because where I reside at, I'm constantly around people who have a basic, I'm just going to go to work and raise my family mindset like it's 1965. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, if you don't have anything else going outside of that, especially for my 6-figure and up earners, for me, it's like you live somewhat of a sad life, because there's a lot of people that would kill to be in a person's position, be able to make 6 figures, and be able to put money away, invest their money, and be able to enjoy life a lot more. So me, I'm like, hey, I'm in the season of trying to win, but I'm in the season of trying to enjoy my life all at the same time, because life is too short. And I've spent enough time wasted around people who want to look like this all the time, or want to look like this all the time. And I'm like this because I'm breathing and I'm here. And I implore you all to have that same mindset. Today's quote of the day is by Big Sean. He says, the question is, do we love you? The question is, do you love yourself? You give the best advice to your friends and not take it for yourself. You give the best advice to your friends and not take it for yourself. And that is a great quote, because a lot of times people always wonder, well, does he or she love me? But the thing I always say, my mindset is, if you can't be happy by yourself, then you can't be happy with anyone else. I think the next live, but I didn't have the time to go live last week. I didn't have the time to do a lot of videos last week because so many other things took priority. But I will say that the next live, I'm going to go in on the relationship aspects of things, because I think going into the new year, we need to all stop being delusional about expectations of a significant other. As long as that person's, outside of somebody being there for you, somebody not being a bill, aka being a bum, and as long as somebody has your back, I think you should have those expectations first. This generation of, you got to take me out to the finest restaurants, you got to ask me out, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes, if you see somebody that you're really interested in, women, men, be assertive. People are very assertive about getting money. I think everybody should be very assertive in anything that they want to do in this life, because life is too short and we could be dead tomorrow. That's number one. But number two, going into 2024, and I put this out on Facebook, if you're going into 2024 with this, I deserve it all because I look good nonsense, you are playing the game. You see the American flag behind me? We live in a great capitalistic country, okay? So with that being said, if you're not going into 2024 with a, hey, what do I bring to the table outside of my looks? And the men too. You got guys that think that, hey, you got plenty of men who live off of females. You got plenty of men who live off of females because they look good and the female is not their type. But I remember seeing this back in high school. I never forget my senior year. And this one woman, and this is before, and I like big women, so I'm not knocking big women, but this is back when big girls weren't, quote unquote, in style. You didn't have social media. We're talking 2001, 2002. And I remember this one big girl, big sloppy woman, and she wasn't even big and sexy, she was big and sloppy. But I remember she had a guy who was like 23, she was 18, so she was legal, but she had this guy who was like 23, 25 years old who moved in her parents' house, and she took pictures of him, this is back during the Kodak days, the Polaroid days. And I remember that, I was like, how did you get this guy to live with you? But then I said to myself, okay, obviously if he's living with you and he's with you because he sees somebody who's a sucker, and he's like, hey, most guys that look like me are not going to holler at her. And everybody wants to make noise now when I'm live. Excuse my dog, family. Anyways, so yeah, and I'm like, and I'm 18 years old in high school saying, this guy's with you? Your mom let him move in? But the long story short is, he might have looked like a pretty boy. He had the muscles and whatnot, but he brought nothing to the table because he had to move in of his girlfriend's parents' house, who his girlfriend happened to be a senior in high school. That's what I'm getting at. We live in a capitalistic society, so if you're not bringing economics, especially, and I'm talking to my 30 and up crew. I'm not talking to the early 20-something. I'm talking about my 30 and up crew. By that time in your life, I'm not saying, because you have people getting rich in high school, so that's what I said. But by the time you hit your 30s, to me, one should be getting their money right. One should be trying to increase their value, therefore increasing their income, therefore increasing their savings, and therefore increasing their assets, aka owning a house, aka owning stocks, bonds, cryptocurrencies, having individual retirement accounts, whole life insurance policies, life insurance policies. Like, these are the economic adult financial lovemaking, as Dr. Boyce Watkins would call it, conversations that one should be having in the year of 2024. Going into 2024. Don't just look for your soulmate. Look for your economic partner in 2024. And that goes to the men and that goes to the women. That has to be discussed. Not from a, I think I'm better than you aspect, but that needs to be discussed. And hey, we're talking about survival here. That's why when I say make money moves or live broke like a fool, I mean that. I don't care how much you love somebody. I don't care how much you find them attractive. If you're not having that financial love-making conversation, then that relationship in 2024, regardless who's in the White House, governor's house, or mayor's house, is not, and I repeat, is not going to work, family. Think on that. All right? So But I'm going, like I said, I'm going to get more detailed about that maybe later on this week. So, and I know do the great theory things. So most likely this weekend when I have the time, do the great theory things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. And as I always say, make money moves or you're going to live like a fool. Take care.